get started. We're going to do the good, bad, and the fugly. That's where we recap this past week in sports, give a little shine to something that happened good, something that was bad, and something that was downright fucking ugly. Bert, why don't you go first?
I'll start shortly after our program last week. Aaron Judge crushed his 300th home run and became the fastest MLB player to reach the feat at 955 games, breaking the previous record by well over 100 games, which belonged to Ralph Kiner, who did it in 1087, I believe. I think that it was literally like that night, like after we signed off, or like the next day. So I was like, let me mark this down and mention it next week, because that is amazing. And, look, if he keeps up this pace year over year, not only is he going to be the Yankee great we signed him and paid him to be, but more importantly, I mean, he's going to punch his ticket to Cooperstown earlier than expected. The only piece he's missing as of right now is a World Series ring.
Yeah. My good is going to Caitlin Clark. Speaking of the pre-show, breaking another record, the rookie assist record, and irony, she did it against the Phoenix Mercury, Diana Taurasi, who famously before the season started said, "Oh, all right, Caitlin Clark, that's college. Reality's coming." Took down some notes. We're not a big stat show, Bert, but I had something to say about this. Diana Taurasi, old WNBA fans, reality is coming. You were right about that. It's just not the reality you thought. The reality is, Diana Taurasi, you're 0-3 versus Caitlin Clark this season. The reality is, she's number one in jersey sales. Her games are the most attended. Her games are the most viewed on TV. And she's the number one most searched WNBA player and the most popular player in her sport by far. It's not even close. But that's off the court. You can argue that as a basketball fan. So let's talk about the reality on the court, Bert. She is overwhelmingly the favorite for Rookie of the Year, okay? She deserves it. Her team is poised to make the playoffs after they didn't make it last year. But let's talk records. She's the first ever rookie to record a triple-double. Most double-doubles by a rookie guard. We know that Angel Reese has like the most double-doubles. I don't know if it's WNBA history, but definitely by a rookie. Or I guess in a single season. But Caitlin Clark has the most threes in a single game by a rookie. She has the most assists in a single game, I think, all time in the WNBA. She has, with 19, and currently leads the league in assists. And not only that, she leads the entire league in points scored or assisted on. And she has a real chance of breaking the all-time assist record. And if not, she'll definitely be second. Bert, that is the reality. All this nonsense that she was going to struggle and all this bullshit. No, she is great. And there's no denying it. And so my good is going to Caitlin Clark, who after that Olympic break, I didn't know how I felt about such a long break in the middle of the season, stopping for All-Star and Olympics. But I kind of like it for the WNBA. It's like an extended bye week for the NFL. People get their second win, and especially the rookies who get time to adjust. So it'll be interesting to see not only Caitlin Clark, but Angel Reese and all the other phenomenal rookies that have come out of this class, how they adjust to second half basketball. It's kind of like having two mini seasons, right? You have time to like kind of reassess and figure out what worked and what didn't work, and kind of get back into the mode, and all the jitters of starting a season are over. You can kind of just get back to playing basketball. So yeah, shout out to Caitlin Clark, and honestly, shout out to all the rookies, but Caitlin Clark, man, just another phenomenal stretch here. What's your bad?
My bad, pivoting away from sports, but into sports media, actually goes to what happened to us. More importantly, what happened to me last week on socials when someone thought I was a Jet fan. I don't know what you're thinking out there. Bert, why is this bad? It's bad for many reasons. One, because now I have to wear a Giants t-shirt every single time I do this show to show you that I'm not a Jet fan. And I know being a Giant fan isn't much worse. But I think I'd rather have my father call me and tell me that he thinks I'm a complete failure than someone assume that I'm rooting for the New York Jets. So that is my bad for the week. And hey, not for nothing, I appreciate the take this individual had. It was right after our clip from, me talking about Aaron Rodgers and how he said he's not suiting up because preseason isn't real football. And, I made the case in the fact that, hey, if you're a leader on the team, you should be suited up. You shouldn't skip games. If you don't want to play, that's one thing, but you should be out there to lead. And the point this individual is making is like, well, what does it matter if he's suited up? He's still on the sideline. He's cheering them. He's supporting them. You're absolutely right. So he's a fan. So then he should buy a ticket, sit in the stands, eat his popcorn, and cheer with everybody else. Because to me, I understand leadership from the sideline, but if you're able to play, you should be at least suited up. And I mean, my take. I said it last week. He should be out there. But if he truly does not want to play and he wants to skip it, just at least be out there in uniform in itself. But hey, not a Jet fan. Please don't say that shit again. That's so hurtful.
When I saw that, I literally
Dude, I couldn't tell you the emotions that ran through me. At first, I was like, who do you think you are?
Yeah,
It was like, nowhere have I even said I'm a Jet fan. Like, and I get it. Hey, if you think I'm one and I'm giving Jet fans a bad name, I hear that. But oh man, I felt I felt like I needed a shower afterwards.
and it's not really a high bar like to feel shame as a Jet. Did you see like the newest Jet thing with the Robert Saleh, Aaron Rodgers kind of having different philosophies on basically Robert Saleh was like, yo, man, training camp needs to be tough. It needs to be hard, and Aaron Rodgers was like, man, we're old, man. It sucks that it's kind of hard. I guess it feels good. Like, it's kind of like he's going against, like, he's setting up if the season doesn't go well, it's Robert Saleh's fault because he made training camp too hard. Yeah. And I'm like, Aaron Rodgers, like, this is the time, especially after all the shit you put on the New York Jets since you've gotten there.
Yeah.
This is the time you create a united front with your coach and kind of get everybody on the same page. You don't look for an escape route before the season even starts because, I don't know. It's at the end of the, I get it, man. Aaron Rodgers, in terms of like football knowledge, I'm sure he knows more than Robert Saleh. But at the end of the day, Robert Saleh is the head coach. You have to follow what he's doing. If anything else for the younger guys on the team, because if they see you buy in, then they'll buy in and it's better for the team. And then whatever disagreements you have with your coach, go ahead and talk to him behind closed doors. But like these like dueling press conferences these guys are having is not good for the Jets by any stretch.
No, I mean, you said it. It's got to be a united front, right? So to me, it's insane. And so the first thing that comes to my mind is you want to get jumping back into leadership between the coach and your all-star player, right? Your leader. Like, you need to both be on the same page. Exactly what you said. And it brings me different sport, same interest, but like the Florida Panthers, now Stanley Cup champions of this past season, when they showed up to camp last year, they had one thing on their mind, and it was getting back to the Stanley Cup and how they were going to do it. And there were reports of them saying this all throughout camp, all throughout the season. This was their united goal in itself. Now, the Jets didn't have a Super Bowl season last year. Aaron Rodgers didn't even have a Super Bowl fifth play he could have done. He was out in 4. So, I mean, if he wants to make as big of an impact as he does, you have to get everybody together and think big. What could we be? But I think, look, if these reports are true and, he is trying to get it out there. So if it doesn't go well, there's a scapegoat there. I get it to a certain extent, but to me, that's such a cop-out. It's like, did you go to New York because you wanted to win football games and you wanted to get them back into a Super Bowl? Or did you go to New York just because that was basically one of your only options? This team is going to let you play football for them and keep making money, but, not do things like, participate in preseason games and shit like that. So, man, I don't get it. To me, it's just completely wrong, but that's for Jet fans to deal with at this point.
What was your bad?
That was my bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jets. I'm sorry. Yeah. The Jets. My bad was the I was gonna say Fugly, but then I didn't. I think I piggybacked off your Jets, and I thought I already went. My bad is Bert. CTE is getting to the flag footballers now. This guy, so listen, this dude, Darrell Doucette. Let me check my notes. Darrell Doucette.
Yep.
Said that he feels like he's better than Patrick Mahomes because of his IQ of the game. And this spurs off of the Olympics announcing that flag football will be part of the 2028 LA Olympic Games. And not that anything official has been like let out, but it's heavily implied that it's going to comprise of mostly NFL players. Jalen Hurts was the guy that kind of announced it. People within NFL circles, insiders kind of think that it's going to be made up of NFL stars, and Darrell Doucette plays in, I guess, whatever the highest
form of flag football is.
I believe it is through Team USA flag football. I don't know if this is like an NFL sponsored thing, but Bert, this kid doesn't even, I shouldn't even say kid. I don't even know how old he is, but he doesn't have a Wikipedia page. So I couldn't even hate on this guy properly. All I know is that he never played any level of NCAA college football.
He's 35 years old.
Okay, so he's our age.
So he's helped Team USA win the 2021 IFAF, which I can only assume stands for International Flag something football, men's flag football world championship, claim gold in the 2022 World Games, and win 2023 America's Continental Flag Football Championship en route to earning MVP honors. Nothing against him. But I'm with you. I didn't mean to cut you off. This is actually my Fugly this week.
Oh, okay. So this works.
This works perfectly because you're bad, my Fugly. This dude, the first thing I saw when he made these, or the first thing I thought when he made these comments, and like, are you fucking kidding me?
Man,
it's one
straight
thing
face.
to say you are the Patrick Mahomes of flag football, because I think that would have went over much better. But you honestly think you are better. And he said it's from like a football IQ standpoint. It's like, listen, man, I'm not knocking your accolades. What you're doing, you're clearly earning a living from it. It looks awesome. You have a chance to represent, in 4 years, the United States at a global games. You're doing great, but you are not Patrick Mahomes, because if you were, or even if you had his football IQ, something tells me you wouldn't be playing flag football and you'd be playing in the NFL. Now that could be a personal choice. Maybe he didn't like getting hit. Maybe he wanted to play flag football. Maybe he just wanted to be the best at flag football. I get that. But like, dog, you're going to sit here and tell me you feel like you're better than Patrick Mahomes from a football IQ standpoint? I must be missing something.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. Maybe you know.
Hey, Daryl. Hey, big dog. Just put the fries back in the bag, man. Get my extra large. Put my extra large in the bag. All right. What are you talking about? You played intramural football at Xavier University. Okay. Stop it. Enough. I know Patrick Mahomes saw that and did the Conor McGregor. Who the fuck is this guy? Like, why say anybody else? Anybody else in the world, Nathan Peterman, Gardner Minshew, whoever, I don't care who you say. Don't say Patrick Mahomes, possibly the greatest football player we have ever seen play football. Like, enough. On one hand, it's hard. And then I thought about it. It's bad because he said it. But if I am putting on my contrarian hat, which I often do, this is a heady play by him. Flag football, nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows who this guy is. He's making a bid for the Olympics. Let me say something crazy so people can start talking about me in the sport. Cool, I can buy that. But at what cost, my man? At what cost? Because you come out looking like a giant doof right now. And I don't know if that's hurting or helping your cause. I can see where you're trying to take us with this, but I got to imagine, like, what's the quote from Dodgeball? It's a bold strategy, Cotton. I hope it pays off for him.
Exactly, yeah.
Hopefully it pays off. So yeah, I saw that. I couldn't believe it.
I think it stems to, he probably caught wind. There was a bunch of NFL players who, once this was announced, was like, I would want to play flag football for the Olympics. I would want to represent Team USA. There's not real football. There's not NFL version football. So why not go for flag football? I think Joe Burrow said it. Caleb Williams said it. So his comment started as, and I quote, I think it's disrespectful that they'll just automatically assume that they're able to just join the Olympic team because of the person that they are. They didn't help grow this game to get to the Olympics. Give the guys who helped this game get to where it's at their respect. And he goes on from there, basically saying, like, I don't think they'll be able to walk onto the field and make the Olympic team because of the name, right? They'll still have to go out there and compete, yada, yada. So obviously, like, I appreciate the fact that he is vying for the individuals that, help make the sport what it is. I completely agree with that. But, guess what? Guess who doesn't care? The Team USA, the individuals that want people to watch the sport. Because you got to remember, the Olympics, as much as it is about good competition, they want popularity of it. If it's going to be in the Olympics for people to watch, it is viewership at the end of the day too. So throw me some NFLers in there, and then I'll watch it too. I'll still watch it if it's regular flag football. And I get where he's coming from, but he could have left it at that. But to say that he is better IQ than Pat Mahomes, crazy town.
Two things. You're 100% right that you need to have names, right? U.S. women's basketball just won their record 8th gold medal in a row, but they had one of the lowest attendance and lowest rated games. And the controversy was if Caitlin Clark was there, they would have had a couple million more eyes. The attendance would have been better. They would have won gold regardless whether she was on the team or wasn't on the team. This is not a matter of skill or how good or not they are, but you have to put on your business cap with some of these decisions. Daryl, my man, you didn't grow the game. Flag football only exists because the NFL, like avenues like the Olympics, aren't going to have tackle football. Flag football is just a more digestible sport because much like the Noah Lyles thing, there's only one major NFL football league for where all the best players in the world go. When you're not good enough to be in the best league, you know where you go? You go to the Euros. You go to the Canadian Football League. You go to China and play basketball. That's why these guys are world champions, Noah Lyles, or anybody who thinks like that. The flag football thing only exists because the NFL is so popular. Like I don't see flag football on ESPN. I don't even think they put it on the Ocho in August. No. So it's like,
just about to say maybe on the Ocho, yeah.
I mean, Jesus, man, like, what are you talking about? Grow the game.
The game is talking about like the actual now like legit flag football league and like getting to the world championship. I think that's what he meant by grow that game in itself.
But it's only there because they weren't. That's my point. It's only there because they're not going to put tackle football there because not enough flag football is just something more people can do. There's not enough global tackle football leagues to put together an Olympic team. You know what I mean? Like yeah, you could put one for the U.S. together, but not anywhere else. But flag football is everywhere. So it's like I don't know, man. He's off base. He's off. Like he just started. The whole thing is just crazy. To me, it's just a marketing scheme.
Away, dude. Like we are a little less than 4 years away. So
that marketing machine.
He's gonna be 39 years old. He's gonna be the Tom Brady.
Yeah, you're not even gonna be on the team, Daryl. Shut the fuck up. Like oh my Jesus Christ.
He might coach. You never know.
Yeah, coach. Yeah. My fugly is Tua Tagovailoa shooting at Brian Flores. Bert,
hey man, he hurt his feelings.
Just when I thought this generation couldn't ruin this country anymore, here comes Tua fat Tagovailoa, skinny fat Tagovailoa. Every offseason, they're talking about how much muscle or how much weight he lost, and he still looks like a fat, pudgy piece of shit. Now he just with more tattoos.
Jesus.
Dog, why are you firing at Brian Flores? His direct quote was, if you have a terrible person telling you things that you don't want to hear, stop. If you have a terrible person telling you things you don't want to hear, that is what's wrong. This is what I have. What's wrong with his comment. Let me read you the rest of his statement, Bert. Or things you probably shouldn't be hearing. You're going to start believing that about yourself. It hurts when people are telling you you're not worth being in the league, blah, 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 blah. I'm done with that. He put two separate ideas into his statement, and I can't buy it because he made it personal. Tua, you don't want a coach. That's what I heard. You want a buddy. Brian Flores is old school. He comes from the Bill Belichick tree. He coaches you hard. He put together the first two back-to-back winning seasons that franchise had in 18 years. And they fired him because he was mean to you. Well, guess what, Tua? In those 2 years, you sucked, bud. You were trash. And so you had to be coached hard. But nope, you want to frolic in the grass with Mike McDaniel and hold hands. That's the type of coaching you want.
Man,
and the Miami Dolphins
with Mike McDaniel too, though.
Yeah, probably on Quaaludes or whatever they're doing down there in Miami. I think, my problem with it is because I see a lot of it. Oh, people are different. People respond different. Are the Miami Dolphins any more better than they were? They're still winning 10 games. They're still losing in the playoffs. Like it wasn't like Mike McDaniel was just a far and ahead, way better coach.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel now has Tyreek Hill. Tua now has Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And now Tua just got paid, so now he's popping shit. He has had two separate jobs since he's left Miami. Why are you now talking about him as he's in the midst of this investigation because he's in the process of suing the NFL? Don't think that didn't escape my eyes, buddy. Flores is in a no-win situation. The team was rebuilding, traded away a lot of its players, and he still won. He wanted Justin Herbert, and the front office chose Tua. So, yeah, I'm sure there's like a personal thing Flores had. Maybe that geared him towards it. But even at his press conference, he had Harrison Phillips, who just got there not too long ago because he used to be on the Bills. And I forgot another player that standing behind him like some bodyguards. Every player that has played for Flores from Miami, when he was a coordinator in Pittsburgh, to here in Minnesota, love the guy. Yes, he coaches hard. He's old school. He's from Brownsville, New York. He's from the Belichick tree. But these guys, these kids, these young players want the Sean McVay tree guys. They want the nice guys. They want the guys, they want the friends, the 30-year-old cool, hey, I'm the cool coach now guy. You know, I used to smoke the pot when I was a kid. Hey, let's bond. No, dog, like, Bert, if you're good at your job, me and you have both had bosses that were cool, and we've had bosses that were hard asses. Does that stop you does that make you any better or worse than your job? No, because you have to still go in and do your job.
Yeah.
So what? He's a hard ass. We've all had hard ass bosses. That's not like
or coaches, right?
Or
like,
coaches.
You
yeah.
and I grew up in an era where, like, man, I had very tough coaches, both in my younger play with hockey and in my high school lacrosse. But when I say tough, I mean wanting to push you to be the best person you're going to be. And they were old school methods. Sometimes it was that coaching, like, hey, this is what you should focus on. This is what you need to do this. And sometimes it was the coaching that literally looked you dead in the eye and said, you must be the the stupidest fucking person alive to make that decision you just made. You know, sit down and think about it type thing. And like, look, that's how they motivated, plain and simple. And there were some individuals that responded to it, like you or I, that just wanted to consistently get better, so we weren't in that situation. And then you had some individuals kind of in the Tua boat where they shied away from it. They're like, oh, this kind of hurts my feelings. I'm feeling bad about it. And it is what it is. But what gets me is look, there may have been a place where Flores was coming from, some sort of, maliciousness where he just honestly didn't like Tua. That could have been it. Or maybe he was trying to squeeze the talent out of him and produce something on the field to keep his job, which it still didn't work. But like, it's like, as a player though, don't you yourself want to prove them wrong? Don't you, like, to me, I always think athletes, no matter what sport, they need a chip on their shoulder. They need something that eats at them day in and day out so they can drive to be better. Your coaching, the screaming, everybody behind you, that's only going to get you so far. You need to be the one to play like that. The only person coming to mind right now who played like that his entire fucking career, to me, is Tom Brady. He always played like that. It's why he never took reps off. He went in with that same mentality from day one, going in for Drew Bledsoe all the way down to his very last game. The dude fucking came out of retirement because he had something to prove. And I think that, like, more quarterbacks, more players need that in order to get better. So for me, dude, I 100% agree with you. I think it's soft. Like, look, I get it. You're never going to get along with everybody and all of your coaches, but you're leaning on the side of, like, my feelings were hurt. It's like, dude, this is your job. And his job is to make sure you're motivated enough to do your job so that everybody succeeds. Like, you're getting paid millions of dollars to do this. Well, all of us schlubs are doing 9 to 5. Like, you're telling me that he said that you were bad one time or a couple times and now you're sad? Like, get over it. I honestly can't.
Yeah, Tua is weak-minded as fuck. I don't care about all you soft people that are going to be like, see, he's a terrible person. No, the ownership was trying to bring in Sean Payton and Tom Brady to replace all of them. Yeah. And listen, Flores couldn't have handled this situation better because he kept it nuanced. He didn't dismiss it, but he's clearly a tough coach, like we just said, and he understands, he might have been hard on some. He was a first-time head coach in that situation too. Mm-hmm. And he said, maybe I didn't handle certain players better, or maybe I didn't handle certain situations better, but I did the best I could, and I'm going to learn and grow from it, and things of that nature. But that doesn't change the fact that Tua just let another grown man influence how he feels, or influence, like, to me, that's soft, man. It's such a soft thing. And then again, it'd be one thing if he just criticized that, but he took it a step beyond that to me when he mentioned he's a terrible person, or he says something that you don't want to hear. And when he meant you, he meant me. He was saying stuff I don't want to hear because I can't process that way. I can't do it that way. What do you mean he's a terrible person? Like, no, you just didn't like the way he talked to you. Listen, man, you were trash, and go back to the Hard Rock and just shut up. Okay, try not to get a concussion in the process, because that's all. That's the only thing you're good at.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jesus, toughen up, man. It's terrible. It's terrible. Dwayne Marcus says, have we reached part of the season where Jerm is back on the Mets hype train? Hey, back-to-back home run game winners, man. We right back at it, man. We right in the thick. Right before NFL season. The Mets are doing it to me, man. They're fucking doing it to me. He also says, tell Tua to toughen up. Yeah, JT, shout out to JT from JT and the Don. They're going to have a show tomorrow. I think they're going to touch on this a little bit, but JT's a Miami Dolphins fan. Your brother Corey's a Miami Dolphins fan.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to hear what he has to say about this. I got to imagine he's going to agree with us. Dwayne Marcus, Miami won 19 games under Flores. They won 20 under McDaniel. Why are we acting like Mike? Right. That's what I'm saying. The only difference is Mike was nicer to him. He also got Tyreek Hill. So it's like, is Mike McDaniel that much better of a coach? I don't know. You add Tyreek Hill, maybe Brian Flores would have won, 20 something plus games if he had Tyreek Hill at his disposal. Who knows? The team was worse. The team is much better than it was when Brian Flores was there. So it's nuts. It's nuts. Mike McDaniel, Tua, I'm just done. I'm just done with the whole